So, yeah, as you can see from the DC Rebirth #1 variant cover and the Star Wars stuff, I wanted to talk about an idea that's been going on in my head for like the past couple of weeks as as we settle down with the whole Rise of Skywalker thing that came out back in December. I'm still pissed. Um, you could say this is an extended teaser, so to speak, of the eventual Rise of Skywalker video and the eventual Clone Wars season 7 video, where I talk about those two series and video movie. But I wanted to sit down to myself and was like, okay, there was so much potential. Here's what I think of the Disney reboot so far. Disney screwed everything up. That's my honest thought. Disney has completely screwed up the whole franchise in my mind. That, yeah, there's the Clone Wars, there's the Mandalorian, they're great, they're phenomenal shows. But eventually, Disney knows they can't do the small screen stuff forever. They have to expand back into movies. And the High Republic stuff is said to include movies and whatnot. And they already got the guy who made Thor Ragnarok to and played everyone's favorite "The Revolution Has Begun" character in their own Star Wars movie. So it's clear they know that they can't do TV stuff forever. They have to eventually do movies again, and they already got Disney Plus stuff going on. So it's, but all outside of that, like I've read some of the books, I've read some of the comics, I've read them, but I'm not feeling that engrossment that I had with the original stuff. But I'm not that insane fan that's been the fandom menace, as they're called, apparently. I don't look into this stuff. I really don't. But I'm not those toxic Star Wars fans that say, we want legends and nothing else. I was like, can we come up with a compromise? Like me and several other people always get together on Twitter and talk about Star Wars in the DMs, where everyone kind of agrees that neither canon's perfect. That's the easy part. But it's the idea of how can we have this still around but not destroy what Disney's doing, because Disney's already doing that successfully, in my opinion. But the idea was, there was a recent DM invite I was given where basically the idea is that dual canon is the future. That's the idea going around, where people were like, let's bring back Legends as its own imprint and have it, be its offshoot timeline and everything. But I was thinking, I would be for that. I mean, like, everyone would be all for that. I mean, like, Marvel's done it, DC's done it, which begs the question, why doesn't Star Wars do it? Like, it's not like they have, like, various what if stories going around. Oh, wait, they did. It's not like they had alternate tales of different perspectives. Oh, wait, they did. And it's not like they had their own imprint that did the what. Oh, wait, they did. It's called Star Wars Infinite or Infinity or whatever. But like like in this world of let's bring stuff back or tear it down to pieces or let's reboot the whole thing, it's like eventually we're getting tired. We're really getting tired of that. But it's always been my hope that that Disney would finally go like, we hear you, we want to give you what you want, but they'll probably say no one hates Star Wars fans more than Star Wars fans. That's the prevailing thought going around, like how professional wrestling, no one hates professional wrestling more than professional wrestling fans. When everyone bashes WWE, when I give my thoughts on WWE, it's mostly because I want a consistent product that, yeah, it's going to have bad stuff in it, but it's overall have a quality presentation. But that's not what they do nowadays, in my opinion. A lot of and I haven't been watching the lockdown episodes because it's just odd to me. Like, I was like, just cancel the whole thing, go off season. But apparently they're being forced to, or Vince doesn't care anymore, but like is wanting money out of this, so whatever. So it's been my thought lately, going on these last couple of weeks, um, that I wanted to think, you know, it would be fascinating if we did do this for Star Wars, its own DC Rebirth initiative, where there's now a mission to bring back the whole Star Wars legend stuff, but establish that it did happen, not say, oh, it didn't happen. Like, my idea was always this. This was the thought I had when I was coming up with ideas for this. Like, how would I bring back legends if I was in charge? Well, first I would fire Kathleen Kennedy because I really am not a fan of her, in my humble opinion. And then there's the SGW propaganda that's been clearly going around. Like, there were rumors about Solo, a Star Wars story, that feminazi robot droid that started her own robot revolution and everything, and acting all smug and arrogant. Yeah, apparently the original directors, before they left due to creative differences, this was alleged. There's no confirmation about this, but apparently the whole idea with the droid was to satirize the SJW stuff, like Kathleen Kennedy stuff. And Kathleen Kennedy finally figured it out what was going on and fired them both because offended. Like, there's no proof on that. I have no idea. That's just a rumor I was hearing a while back. But the idea of doing a Rebirth initiative to bring back the Legends timeline, it wouldn't like come back right away. My idea, if I was in charge of Star Wars and was handling the creative direction of it, would be, let's make a story out of this. Let's make a story to get to that point where we bring back the old timeline, but not like destroy the Disney stuff. Like, have its own offshoot series, like, as a way to, like, okay, how people get mad about DC Comics and Marvel Comics, how they have one character, but they're in like 10 different books, like Batman being in, let's see, Batman, Detective Comics, Batman and the Outsiders, Justice League. Once time was on Justice League International during the New 52. Then you gotta remember he also shows up in like Nightwing. He shows up in Batgirl because they're part of the Bat family, but no one knows when the hell any of this takes place. Like, did this happen last week? Did this happen yesterday? Did this happen 26 minutes ago? Can someone tell me? But yeah, my idea would be make a offshoot series where eventually it's involving this big adventure that starts off as a one. Like, my idea would be this: let's do a special short Disney Plus film, 40, maybe 60 minutes max. And the idea is Rey at the end of Rise of Skywalker, and I refuse to call her Rey Skywalker for a variety of reasons. That is not because she's not a Skywalker. My thought about it was much more pessimistic and more nihilistic in how it's approached, but I'll get to that when I talk about that video. But this could be also considered a sequel video to that Snoke theory of the world between worlds stuff that I had hoped they were going to do with Rise of Skywalker. I was like, you introduced time traveling. Dave already gave you the keys to fix this. Fix all the continuity issues. Fix all the retcons. Fix all of this. Give Snoke a special backstory that's never been done in Star Wars. And Disney's like, screw it. We gotta make Palpatine the source of all this because we don't care. I really did wish Dave Filoni was in charge of the whole Star Wars project instead of having Kathleen Kennedy run everything, and Dave Filoni just being shoved up to just animation projects and occasional director duties with hold on, I'm getting some technical difficulties here. Sorry, I'm just getting technical difficulties. Something weird's going on. Let me fix this. Okay, we're back. We're back with from the technical issues that happened. Some reason my camera just stopped working for a sec. So the idea is that they do this short, big film, so to speak, on Disney Plus, and the idea is to eventually have a character from the Legends era come in and basically be the Wally West, so to speak. And my idea would have been to address the world between worlds, bring back Snoke, because in Disney's version of events, Snoke is made. They never explain how exactly that Palpatine made Snoke, and I was thinking that makes no sense. Like that really does not make any sense. Like the idea is that the idea was that Snoke was made by Palpatine, even though the books and even some of the comics indicated that, and even said at one point, I believe in the Last Jedi expanded edition book when I was looking over the details, was that Snoke existed before the Empire rose, which, you know, is really breaking canon rule because now you don't know what the hell they mean now. So my idea was this, the idea is this: it borrows an element from the Legends timeline, specifically Star Wars The Old Republic. Remember how in Star Wars The Old Republic, it's revealed that the Sith Emperor is manipulating the Mandalorians. He manipulates certain dark side users to do the horrible things that he did because somehow with the dark side or whatever. And the idea is that they go ahead and discover this stuff and all this insanity that goes on. So the idea would be to have maybe Snoke is actually a real person, and the idea that if you checked out my my World Between Worlds video I discussed about a few years back, before Rebels ended, where Snoke actually went back in time, is from the Legends timeline but far into the future, goes back in time discovering it, and then tampers with time itself. Like maybe you could change certain elements of Palpatine. Like, he's an evil sadistic monster. We can't change that. That would be really messed up if they did that. But that was Disney. It wouldn't surprise me. But like the idea would be that he met Palpatine and gave him genetic samples to build up, while he changed the timeline. Like Palpatine was in on it to a minor extent, didn't know the full capabilities of Snoke's power, but Snoke has secretly manipulated Palpatine when Palpatine thought he was manipulating him. But that does change the whole Aftermath book, because now it's like wait, but Palpatine was said that something was calling to him in the Return of the Jedi stuff, but that was like they never go back on that. So what can you do on that? So the idea is that they go ahead and reveal that Snoke is really the big orchestrator in a lot of big insane stuff. Like, he's not a Sith in the traditional sense. He's not like Darth Krayt, but it does establish that the Wally West of the Legends canon would come in to try and warn the remaining heroes that remain. And here's the thing: when okay, they haven't confirmed this. Dave Filoni's hinting that it's really the case. Isn't really the case, but Disney killed off Ahsoka off screen in Rise of Skywalker as being the many voices calling to Rey, because we need the Mary Sue moment of all Mary Sues. But now Dave Filoni comes out a few days later with a drawing where Gandalf says, "Don't worry, kid," and everyone thought I was dead too, except we read the book. A lot of people read the book, so I'm pretty sure even they knew that you're not really dead. So, anyways, unless it was secretly changed, but, forget that. But that gave a lot of people hope that, oh, maybe Ahsoka's not dead, maybe she's somewhere else, and she's knowing what's happening and contacting Rey, and that would lead to a multitude of questions I have, even though it would have been more awesome if Ahsoka was physically on the set in the movie training Rey more than Leia, because as all due respect to Leia Organa and Carrie Fisher, may she rest in peace, Leia quit being a Jedi, remember? So how would she know how to teach Rey? She quit a year or so afterwards. They never established that, but from what it sounded like she quit really, literally when she began, because we can't have that. But who would I have be my Wally West, so to speak, of the DC Universe Rebirth? Okay, this is gonna be the one that really breaks something here. If I had my way, I would have had Anakin Solo be the guy. Because remember, everyone initially assumed Rey was really the version of Jaina Solo, and that, you know, certain event and Kylo Ren was basically Darth Titus except Disneyfied to be an idiot. But yeah, the idea here would be that Anakin Solo sometime found out about what had happened, what Snoke did, because originally he was supposed to be a bigger deal than he actually was in the old canon, before they realized, oh, we have two Anakins and they pretty much have the same prophecy kind of thing going on for them. We gotta kill this one off, even though we built him up to be the next big thing for Lucasfilms, for the Star Wars universe post Return of the Jedi. But we gotta kill him off now. So yeah, I would have him be my Wally West in this rebirth idea. And this would lead into this insanity where he meets Rey, assumes she's Jaina Solo because he feels like he recognizes her, but then realizes that's not her, and realizes she's a Palpatine, and then he goes on to say Palpatine didn't have kids. And here's the thing, I know they say, oh, that's Palpatine's granddaughter, except they retcon Rise of Skywalker by saying, oh, no, you see, that was a clone of Palpatine that somehow escaped and went and had its own mind of its own. So, yeah, it's literally Palpatine's daughter. So, yeah. Yeah. That will be talked about later in the Rise of Skywalker video. Oh, God. Anyways. So, the idea would be, and Ahsoka, if I had my way, Ahsoka would be the new daughter. They keep him alluding to that. They keep saying the Mortis arc had something to do with her continued survival. For a lot, even Ashley assumed that Ahsoka surviving the events of season 2 was probably because of Mortis and her connection with the daughter, which really would have been awesome. In fact, could be used to explain how she's alive in Rise of Skywalker and still in her youth, because she has pretty much eternal youth, since the daughter has eternal youth until she was stabbed in the back, literally. But this would also the other idea for Snoke is that he has an ally, so to speak, an ally that even in Legends couldn't really die unless they have the dagger, and that's Abeloth, the mother of the son, of the daughter, and of the father. Abeloth, the mother, all that insanity, like both of them conspire probably to alter time and change the events in order to make this more bleak and stop certain factors from coming in. Why certain characters feel familiar to people, like Cassian Andor and Jyn Ersos, like Kyle Katarn and Jyn from the Jedi Knight series. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that. How certain Legends characters came back, like Thrawn, and why he has irises now instead of just blank red eyes, which was more intimidating in my eyes. And this would give way to not destroying the previous canon, the previous canon or the Disney canon. That would be stupid because everyone wants their fresh start. But now they have the chance to do a multiverse story stuff. Yeah, I know this doesn't feel like Star Wars. They could probably make it feel like Star Wars, but Rise of Skywalker didn't feel like Star Wars. It felt like something else. Its day's coming, my friend. So, yeah, so the idea here would be like that Rey, Ahsoka probably showing up to help since she's now feeling this massive disturbance in the Force, and then they discover time, and Anakin Solo now brought into the Disney canon, but is now trying to figure out how to get back or save his time. without destroying this timeline, it would involve Snoke, Abeloth, and rediscovering another way to get to the world between worlds. And now there's this crisis going on where this leads into a bunch of stories that tie into this whole time is in crisis thing. And this would lead into so much stuff that would just be so hard to talk about. And I would need a committee to help talk about this idea, but that would be the basic idea. How this would reveal that Snoke and potentially even Abeloth is involved in this, that they broke time to manipulate events to get things to go their way, why certain people have been erased from the timeline, how certain events have been altered, how certain characters aren't the same that we remember them as, like why Luke failed this and why Yoda was this idiotic, or why Mace Windu was a complete jackass. Though that's probably the Samuel L. Jackson in him. No, Samuel L. Jackson was a likable jerk in a lot of stuff. Mace Windu's just horrible. But why Revan is kind of canon, but not at the same time. Why so much stuff makes no sense to people. Like, my idea would have been to bring about the rebirth of Legends and then pick up where we left off. And can Solo, content with this, finally disappears back into the Force, since he is supposed to be dead in the Yuzon Long War era. But this leads into revealing that it's not just the Legend timeline that's bad. It's now, there are more timelines. There's now a multiverse now that exists in the wake of all this. That would be how I would end it. And giving way to multiple imprints. Like, there's the Disney canon, the Legends canon, the Infinities. There's the multiple stuff they could go with. Like, Marvel has, like, let's see, Earth X. Let's see, DC has Earth 1, Wildstorm, DC Black Label, also known as DC Vertigo, the Sandman universe, as it was called. Like, basically, that's what I'm saying. There's, like, tons and tons and tons and tons of imprint labels that tell alternate stories or alternate timelines. So why not just do that? But yeah, this was a video I've been wanting to talk about. I know I'm going incoherent ramblings at times, and I have that issue with the camera, but this has been mostly my idea. If I was in charge of LucasArts and Lucasfilms, I would bring back a lot of stuff. Like, you can add the imprint even to the video games, the movies. Like have a label at the beginning of where it says Legends and revealing that this is a Legend imprint show or a movie. Or, like, wouldn't Disney want more money? Wouldn't Disney want this kind of stuff here, to have all this imprint of stuff? Legends, Disney, the Legends canon, the multiple other stuff they could go with. They got multiple canons going on, but I don't know why they won't do it. And they can't use the whole, well, people hate the prequels, because you're you're glorifying the Clone Wars, so why not just admit, okay, the prequel films may not be masterpieces, but they had good ideas, they had good concepts. A lot of people, there were people that loved it. I'm one of them. I grew up with it. It gave me my start. Or I would have looked at Star Wars and just saw it as like Star Trek. It's like a thing I would be interested in, but like I'll get around to it eventually. I never do. Yeah, that's the fact of life for me. But yeah, I wouldn't be making these videos talking about all these potential ideas they could go with, but that's just it. I'm not that fan that wants to destroy everything and rip in a new one because it's Disney and whatnot. I just want what I love and what fans love. If they love the Disney canon, that's their right. If they just love the Legend stuff, that's their right. But in my philosophy, you can't just destroy what's been established, what people grew up on. if you did that, then what would be the point of getting invested with the current canon? What if Disney just reboots that out of the way and just rids themselves of all of it? And then they could bring all this stuff back and keep all the new stuff as its own separate stuff, and no one would have been mad. There's an imprint telling you this is this canon, this is this canon. So why not just do that? So yeah, I feel like I've done enough in my mind. I might do more videos like this in a later time, probably hopefully with more people that would love to talk about this idea. But this is just like a base to start things off. So this were my thoughts on the potential idea of Star Wars doing its own DC Rebirth. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. If you like, comment, subscribe, and donate.
Let's look at this and find out what we love about it. What did we love about it? What do we love about it? And really take all of that and build a better book, build a better universe. The whole point of Rebirth for all of us is to get back to the essence of the characters.